Since 1950, Formula One has evolved through sheer speed. We went from V12 screamers to V10 monsters, and finally to the complex hybrid computers of today. But what is happening in 2026 is not an evolution. It is a revolution. It is a hard reset. The FIA is tearing up the rulebook and rewriting the DNA of the sport. Why? Because Formula One was facing an existential crisis: become relevant to the future or die as a dinosaur. In 2026, everything changes. The engines, the fuel, the chassis, the aerodynamics, and even the way drivers overtake. This is the biggest gamble in the sport's 75-year history. Today, in 8 distinct chapters, we are breaking down every single aspect of the 2026 regulations to understand: is this the beginning of a golden era, or a disaster waiting to happen? The power unit. For the last decade, the sport relied on the MGU-H, a complex device that harvested heat energy. It was efficient, but incredibly expensive and killed the engine sound. In 2026, the MGU-H is banned. To replace it, F1 is tripling the electrical power. The kinetic motor, the MGU-K, will now produce 350 kilowatts, that is nearly 470 horsepower just from electricity. The split between the internal combustion engine and the battery is now almost 50-50. This creates a massive engineering challenge. How do you keep the battery charged when you are using so much energy per lap? Drivers will no longer be able to push flat out for 70 laps. They will be managing a complex energy budget every single corner. The fuel. This is the change that might save the internal combustion engine globally. In 2026, F1 cars will run on 100% sustainable drop-in fuel. This means no new fossil carbon is added to the atmosphere. The carbon emitted by the exhaust is equal to the carbon captured to make the fuel. Net zero. But this isn't just eco-marketing, it's a technical war. This new fuel burns differently. Mercedes, Ferrari, and Honda have had to redesign their combustion chambers from scratch to unlock the potential of this new liquid gold. The team that cracks the chemical code first will have a significant horsepower advantage. The chassis, Nimble Car, is the official concept name. After years of complaints that F1 cars looked like boats, the FIA is shrinking them. The 2026 cars will be 20 centimeters shorter and 10 centimeters narrower. The target is to reduce weight by 30 kilograms. It sounds small, but combined with narrower tires, it fundamentally changes the physics of the car. The goal is to make them more agile in slow corners and better for street tracks like Monaco or Baku. However, less surface area means less natural downforce, which brings us to the most controversial part of the new rules: Active Aerodynamics. Welcome to the era of transformers. In 2026, the cars will have movable wings on both the front and the rear. We have 2 main modes. Z mode is the default setting for corners, where the wings are steep to provide grip. X mode is for the straights, where the wings flatten out completely to reduce drag and increase top speed. Unlike DRS, which was only for overtaking, these modes will be used by every driver on every lap. The car will physically change its shape multiple times per minute. It looks futuristic, but it adds a layer of complexity that could lead to mechanical failures. If a wing gets stuck in the wrong mode, it's game over. The overtaking system. Say goodbye to DRS. The drag reduction system is dead. Replacing it is something called manual override mode. This is basically a video game boost button. Here is how it works. On straights, the leading car's electrical power will start to taper off at 290 kilometers. They will hit an energy wall. But the chasing car, if close enough, gets access to extra electrical deployment up to 337 kilometers HE. It creates a massive speed difference based on horsepower, not just aerodynamics. Critics call it the mosquito effect, where cars might constantly swap positions on every straight because the leader is always vulnerable. It changes the strategy from defending your line to managing your battery. The corporate war. The 2026 rules were written specifically to attract giants, and it worked. Audi has bought the Sauber team completely, entering as a full factory outfit to build a German super team. Ford has returned after decades to partner with Red Bull powertrains, focusing on the electrical side of the new engine. Honda has abandoned Red Bull to become the exclusive partner of Aston Martin, and General Motors is pushing hard with Cadillac. This influx of manufacturers proves that F1 is healthy, but it also raises the stakes. For companies like Audi, failure is not an option. They are here to win, and they are spending billions to dethrone Mercedes and Ferrari. The verdict. So where does this leave us? The 2026 regulations represent a brave new world. Lighter cars, sustainable fuels, and more manufacturers are exactly what the sport needed. However, the complexity of the active aero and the potential weirdness of the manual override system remain valid concerns. We might see a season of chaos, reliability issues, and strange racing strategies. But isn't that exactly what we want? After years of one team dominating, a hard reset gives everyone a chance to win. The future is coming fast. Are you ready for it? Let us know in the comments. Which manufacturer do you think will nail the 2026 regulations first? Audi, Red Bull, Ford, or the old guard? This is F1 Perspective. Subscribe to stay ahead of the curve.